What the hell do you think you're doing?
Just helping Miguel finish up, sir.
Did I ask you to help him? Get back to your section. I don't pay you to be a good Samaritan.
It's my fault, sir. My back was acting up.
Then maybe you should find a new line of work. And you, Wallace, remember your place. Ex-cons don't make the rules here.
I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. In my old life, no one would dare speak to me like that. But I reminded myself that I was trying to be better, to be different. So I nodded and walked away. Victor made my life hell. Sometimes, he'd give me impossible tasks just to mock me when I failed. I remember one day I came to work 7 minutes late. Victor forced me to wear a t-shirt with ex-con printed on it and told me to stand in a corner of the office for nearly an hour before starting work. Another time, I came back late from a lunch break and Victor made me wash his car and drive him home as some sort of punishment. Things only got worse. Victor seemed to take special pleasure in riding me harder than anyone else. He'd randomly inspect my work, timing my bathroom breaks, and making jokes about my past in front of other employees. About 2 months in, my name is Wallace, and I used to be what you might call professionally dangerous. For 7 years, I ran with the Red Scorpions, one of the most feared gangs. I wasn't just some low-level thug either. I was Ace's right-hand man. Ace, our leader, trusted me with everything. I had the respect of all the people on my street, which made me feel powerful. But power comes at a price. By 25, I'd been stabbed twice, shot once, and spent 18 months in jail. I watched 3 of my closest friends get buried before they hit 30. The math wasn't hard. I knew where this road ended. The turning point came on a night in March. We'd hit a rival's stash house, and things went sideways fast. In the chaos, a stray bullet went through a bedroom wall and hit a 6-year-old girl who was sleeping. She didn't die, thank God, but seeing her tiny body on that stretcher, knowing we caused that, something broke inside me. I still remember Ace's reaction when I told him I was out.
You can't just walk away. This isn't some job where you give 2 weeks' notice. You're family.
I know that, but I've got to try something else, Ace. I'm dying inside, man.
The only way people leave the Scorpions is in a body bag. You know that.
I've been loyal for 7 years. I've bled for you. I've never snitched, never cheated you. I'm asking for one thing. Let me walk away clean. To my surprise, after a tense silence, Ace nodded slowly.
You saved my life twice. I guess that buys you something. But understand this. You're on your own now. Don't come running back when civilian life gets too soft for you.
Fair enough. I'd like to say the transition to normal life was smooth, but that would be a lie. With my record, decent jobs were scarce. I bounced between warehouse gigs and construction sites for almost a year before landing a position at Meridian Shipping. The pay was decent, the hours regular, and most importantly, it was legitimate. My supervisor, Victor, seemed decent enough at first. During my interview, he'd made a big show about Meridian being a second-chance employer that didn't discriminate against people with records. It took exactly 3 weeks for that facade to crumble. The first incident was small. I'd finished loading my assigned containers ahead of schedule and was helping Miguel, an older guy with back problems, with his section.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Just helping Miguel finish up, sir.
Did I ask you to help him? Get back to your section. I don't pay you to be a good Samaritan.
It's my fault, sir. My back was acting up.
Then maybe you should find a new line of work. And you, Wallace, remember your place. Ex-cons don't make the rules here.
I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. In my old life, no one would dare speak to me like that. But I reminded myself that I was trying to be better, to be different. So I nodded and walked away. Victor made my life hell. Sometimes, he'd give me impossible tasks just to mock me when I failed. I remember one day I came to work 7 minutes late. Victor forced me to wear a t-shirt with ex-con printed on it and told me to stand in a corner of the office for nearly an hour before starting work. Another time, I came back late from a lunch break and Victor made me wash his car and drive him home as some sort of punishment. Things only got worse. Victor seemed to take special pleasure in riding me harder than anyone else. He'd randomly inspect my work, timing my bathroom breaks, and making jokes about my past in front of other employees. About 2 months in, I was working late to finish a rush order. The warehouse was nearly empty, just me and a few others trying to get everything loaded before morning.
Wallace, my office now.
When I entered his office, Victor was reviewing security footage on his computer. He turned the monitor toward me. It showed me taking my lunch break earlier that day.
Want to explain this?
That's my lunch break, sir.
You were sitting for 17 minutes. Lunch is 15.
I had to use the bathroom right after. I started lunch later than the other guys, so I figured that if I took another minute to use the bathroom that it would be okay.
Are you arguing with me?
No, sir. Just explaining.
Let me make something crystal clear. You're on thin ice here. One word from me, and you're back on the streets. And with your record, who's going to hire you then? Nobody wants gang trash around decent people.
I felt something dark and familiar stir inside me, but I pushed it down. I needed this job. I was 7 months clean from the gang life, had a small apartment, and was even thinking about taking some night classes. I couldn't throw that away. Understood, sir? It won't happen again. I know that such things didn't seem like much, but it was constant. I always felt Victor watching me, just waiting for me to make even the smallest mistake, and whenever I did, he made sure to rub my nose in it. It was humiliating. The final straw came 3 weeks later. I'd been saving up for months to buy a decent used car. Nothing fancy, just an old Civic that would get me to work without relying on the buses. The day after I bought it, Victor spotted me arriving in the parking lot.
Well, nice ride. Business must be booming.
Excuse me?
I'm just saying, ex-gang member suddenly has cash for a new car? Makes me wonder what you're doing after hours.
I saved up for this. Been taking the bus for almost a year.
Right, and I'm supposed to believe that. Maybe I should call your parole officer, suggest a drug test.
I wasn't even on parole anymore, but that wasn't the point. He was implying I was dealing drugs, in front of 3 other co-workers who were walking in with me. I'm clean, sir. You can test me anytime.
Don't tempt me. I've got my eye on you.
Later that day, I discovered my car had been keyed. A long, deep scratch running the entire length of the driver's side. There were no security cameras in that section of the parking lot, but I knew. Victor's smile when I mentioned what happened to it told me everything. That night, I couldn't sleep. I paced my small apartment, rage building with each step. I tried to do everything right. I'd walked away from a life where I had respect, power, and protection. For what? To be humiliated daily by a small man with too much authority. By morning, I'd made my decision. After work, instead of heading home, I drove to the south side, to a rundown bar called the Red Door. I hadn't been there in nearly a year, but some places never change. The same bouncer stood at the door, and his eyes widened when he saw me.
Wallace? Man, I thought you were Ghost.
Hey Rico, Ace around?
Back room. He's not going to be happy seeing you.
We'll see. The bar full of familiar faces that turned as I walked through, some nodding in recognition, others watching warily. I made my way to the back room and knocked once. The door opened, and there stood Ace, looking exactly the same, maybe a few more tattoos, but still the same calculating eyes.
Well, look what the cat dragged in. The civilian returns.
We need to talk.
Why should I listen? You walked away, remember?
Because what I'm about to propose will benefit us both. Ace studied me for a moment, then stepped aside, allowing me into the room where 4 other scorpions were playing cards. They all tensed when they saw me, hands instinctively moving toward their waistbands.
Easy, boys. Let's hear what our prodigal brother has to say.
I laid it all out for them. Victor, Meridian Shipping, and most importantly, the opportunity. Meridian handled millions in merchandise, with security gaps I'd identified during my months working there. I explained how a strategic hit could yield massive returns with minimal risk.
So you want us to rob your workplace? That's a quick way to prison, brother.
Not robbery. Think bigger. Meridian has a shipment coming next week. High-end electronics from Japan worth over 2 million retail. The manifest lists them as kitchen appliances to reduce insurance costs. Victor falsifies these documents regularly to save the company money.
Keep talking.
The shipment arrives at 2 a.m. on Thursday. Night security is one guy who spends most of his shift sleeping. I can provide the gate codes, alarm details, everything. You take the merchandise. I make sure the investigation focuses on Victor. Ace leaned back, a slow smile spreading across his face.
And what do you get out of this?
Victor destroyed. I've documented every illegal practice he's implemented: tax fraud, insurance scams, safety violations. When the police investigate the theft, they'll find a manager cutting corners and falsifying records. His word against mine won't mean much when they see the evidence.
You've thought this through, but why come to me? You could have gone to the cops with this evidence.
Because I want him ruined, not just fired. And I want a cut of the take, 20%. Enough to start fresh somewhere else. Ace considered this for a long moment, then extended his hand.
Welcome back, Wallace, temporarily.
The plan went off even better than I'd anticipated. The Scorpions hit the warehouse clean and professional. No violence, no witnesses. By the time the alarm was finally raised, they were long gone with merchandise worth over $2 million. When the police arrived, I played the shocked employee perfectly. But I also handed over a thick folder of evidence documenting Victor's illegal practices over the months. The falsified manifests were particularly damning. He'd been declaring expensive shipments as lower value items for years, saving the company on insurance and taxes while skimming the difference. The police investigation quickly shifted from a simple robbery to a wide-ranging fraud case. Victor was arrested 3 days later, let out of the warehouse in handcuffs, his face a mask of confusion and rage. When he spotted me watching, something clicked, and he lunged at me, screaming,
"You set me up. This is all him. He's a criminal. Check his background."
But the officers just pulled him away. His credibility was shot. Several other employees came forward after his arrest, sharing their own stories of abuse and witnessing fraudulent practices. The company was eager to make Victor the scapegoat for everything to avoid broader liability. I resigned 2 weeks later, citing the trauma of the robbery. With my share from the Scorpions, transferred through multiple untraceable channels, I had enough to move to Arizona and start over. Again. Sometimes I wonder if I took things too far. Victor was a bastard, no doubt about that, but I engineered his complete destruction. He'll serve at least 5 years for fraud and embezzlement. His wife left him. His reputation is ruined. And then I remember the look in his eyes when he called me gang trash. The satisfaction when he keyed my car. The way he wielded his power like a weapon against those who couldn't fight back. The old Wallace would have beaten him half to death in that parking lot. The new Wallace found a more elegant solution. I'm not sure which version of me is more dangerous. I've been clean for 6 months now in Phoenix. I work as a dispatcher for a trucking company. My boss is a decent woman who judges people on their work, not their past. I don't think about Victor much anymore, or the Scorpions. But sometimes, late at night, I feel that familiar darkness stirring inside me, and I wonder if you can ever truly leave the old life behind, or if it just waits, patient as a spider, for the moment you need it again. Subscribe now and you'll get absolutely nothing, but we'll love you forever.